Hello, my beautiful people. My name is Kristen. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today, I am discussing a couple of classics. So I like to read a classic a month. It has been my goal for the past 4 years now to try to do at least one classic. And I loosely define that as approximately 50 plus years old and kind of recognized as a classic. It doesn't matter necessarily that it has to be a real strict to the guidelines kind of definition, but that's just generally how I've rolled. So I was reading a book that I got from a library sale, and I got about that far into it, and I just was so overwhelmed by the offensive racial language and situations and disrespect of this white community towards the black community. And I just stopped and did a little research and discovered that yes, in fact, this author, because I was anticipating maybe it comes around to making a justice kind of point, but this author actually did personally in his own life kind of fight against desegregation and really did believe that whites were better than blacks. And that unfortunately is William Faulkner. And this is Light in August, which is a story that starts out with a lower income, lower class white girl who gets kind of wooed by a rebel male who gets her pregnant and leaves, but promises that he's going to call for her, take care of her, make it right. She goes on this journey to try to find him, thinking that he's a legit, above the board, really wanted to marry her kind of deal. So there's also a lot of going through social hierarchy and this naive kind of not really coming of age, because even I just went ahead and read the quick give me the spoilers for this book so I know the end of the story because I'm done reading it kind of thing. And I didn't read it because his writing really is probably what I would call very poignant, very beautifully scripted out. However, I don't know that the ending would have been that satisfying. You can Google if you would like to get a quick summary of more of what the story is. But my overall thing is I can't think of anybody that I would recommend this to. I recommend you don't read this book, nor can I really recommend William Faulkner. The only other book I have read by his, to be fair, is As I Lay Dying, which is probably arguably his most famous book. I did enjoy it. It's a little dark, and that one was a story of basically the children, brothers, promising their mom that when she passed they would bury her where she wanted to, and there was all these adventures in trying to fulfill this and dealing with death and family promises and those kind of issues. So again, I wanted to read some more of his, but I am breaking up with this author. I do not want to read any more of his, nor do I want to recommend somebody that would have those kind of underlying values in their writing, because it's going to come through, right? And sometimes that's why I don't get on with a lot of books, is that sometimes it is really heavy-handed or really transparently obvious what the person is trying to push on me, and if that goes against the grain of my values, it becomes a much more challenging read. And somebody else may really be there about it and for it, and that's cool. I'm not going to judge what anybody else wants to, but if you're asking me or you're coming from my opinions, I'm saying no, do not recommend. So what I did, since I really still wanted to do a classic, and that was technically a DNF, I have also listened to a variety of audiobooks on Chirp, and Chirp did a classics sale, audio sale. And so I discovered that one of my very favorite classic authors, John Steinbeck, his very first novel was actually a historical fiction book based off of Captain Morgan and piracy. It's called Cup of Gold. And so I said, perfect, I have yet to find a John Steinbeck that I didn't like, if not outright love. So I said, great, this is awesome. And it's his very first published book. So this is they say loosely based historical fiction, but and because it's told from the perspective of Henry Morgan, from him being little, going into the decision to go off and seek his fortune, getting waylaid and kind of forced, if you will, into the smuggling, piracy, swashbuckling, bootlegging journey, becoming actually really obviously accomplished, doing that in the name of England, conquering Panama, getting a commission to become a lieutenant over Jamaica. So we learn a lot. I loved the descriptions of the high seas, of the pirating, of that whole narrative. I love John Steinbeck's writing. He is also very, very poignant, and he has the grittiest, rawest characters. And so a pirate is the perfect character portrayal for that kind of world building, and just, you could just taste the salt air and just feel the misery, feel the hunger when they were without food. It was fun. It was just fun. I mean, for the fact that there is a lot of death and destruction in the pirating world, and a lot of no mercy and kind of torturous kind of things. And that's better for me in a book than necessarily seeing it in the movie. But again, totally love this. I totally think that it is brilliant, especially as a first book, and it's only historical fiction. So I didn't even know about it. If you want to read it, let me know what you think. If you have read it, let me know what you think. And if you have no interest in either of these authors, that's cool too. We can always meet and discuss in the comments. If there's another author or another book that you want to drop in there that you think I should check out, please do. I'm always adding to my wish list, and I think that's one of the best things about BookTube is the exchanging of the recommendations and discovering these things. And then if you like this, you'll like this, and if you like that, you'll like that. So if you like piracy and you like classics, and if you like John Steinbeck, do read that one. And like I said, don't have any recommendations for the Faulkner book, but appreciate you being here. Like and subscribe. Take care. Happy reading.